Hi everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial you will learn how to cut and sew this slit or underwear skirt, and then this is the fabric I'm using, and then I'll be using this elastic band. You can use the 1 inch or this half an inch, and then with this beautiful trimming for the lace edge just to put at the edge of the skirt. So let's dive in, guys. And then yes, those are the basic material you'll be needing. And for the measurement, you just need the hip measurements, circumference, the length of the skirt, as well as the waist circumference. The essence of the waist is just to determine the inches you'll be cutting for the elastic band. So this is me. I've already gone ahead to fold the fabric, trying to measure and to see if the length I have there is okay for the length I need. And then I'm going to open it now to show you how I went ahead to measure it. Yes, to cut it rather. So this is how, firstly I thought to cut it this way. If the length is going to be like longer than the method I used, which I'm still going to show you, then you want to go ahead and fold the first way I folded it. But this is the way I started with, and this is the way I went about to fold it. Fold your fabric into two. The width of this particular fabric is 60 inches, right? So which made it like perfect for the length I need it for, that I need to cut out. And then I went about to just fold it, making the hem of the fabric to meet together just like that. Yeah, go ahead and fold it that way, and then fold it again this other way. So by so doing, you have the folded edge on the other part while this part is open, just the exact hem of the fabric or the edge of the fabric facing this way. So just as you see me do it, I hope what I've explained is clear there. And with this, I have, when I measured, I have 30 inches for the length that I need. And for the width, you want to measure 1/4 of the hip measurement, which is the major measurement to be needed, plus 2 inches. You can make it 3 inches depending on how free you want it. So you can use 2, you can use 3 inches. That will depend on your preference. And for me, I think for this particular person, I decided to use about our hip is 44, which is 11 inches, and then I thought to use I use 15 inches there. Yeah, so that's what I'm cutting out for this. So you can decide to use whatever inches you want to. So, and then added 1 inch for the sewing allowance, as you can as well use 0.5 for the sewing allowance. So like I said, 1/4 of the hip measurement plus 2 or 3 inches for freeness, and as well as a sewing allowance. So that's how to go about to do that. And I've gone ahead to cut that out. So I'm just trying to remeasure again. I've gone ahead to cut that out. So next thing now, I'm going to be showing you what I did next. So the next thing I did was actually to go ahead to my sewing machine to join the sides on the sewing allowances I added. It's so simple. And then towards the hem of the skirt, I'll be leaving few inches for a kind of an opening on the side. Yeah, which I'll come back to show you after joining the sides together. So I've gone ahead to join the sides together, leaving these inches you see on that part towards the hem of the skirt. And after doing that, I'll go onto the sewing machine and bend. I already bend this part. Can you see it? The opening from the hem, I bend it inside, then top stitch on it. So I'll do the same thing for the other side. I only thought to come and show you so that you know what I've done there. Can you see that? Fold it on the 1 inch sewing allowance and then bend it in by 0.5 and stitch to where the sewing ends on that part, and then turn across again to the other side and sew it all the way down back to the hem of the skirt. So that's the way I went about to sew that opening that I left towards the hem of the skirt. And the next thing now is will be for us to cut our elastic band for the waist. So to get the elastic band for the waist, so yeah, I've gone ahead to do that. As you can see it, the only thing that will be needed for the hem is to put the trimming before we go to the elastic band. Now go ahead and stitch your trimming on it, but at the starting point of the trimming you want to fold it in a little bit if there's any rough edge, so that you can tuck it in, and then so that it can come out looking neat and perfect. So that's the way I'll go about to sew the lace. Can you see that? I've gone ahead to stitch the lace on top of it. I stitch it on because the hem of the skirt that I cut already was just the edge of, I used the edge on that part, the edge of the material on that part. But if it happens that you already cut that part open, you want to bend it in a little for neatness before sewing the lace on top of it. So that is it. For the elastic waistband, I love to use 3/4 of the waist measurement, waist circumference measurement. That's what I normally use, and it's always perfect. So you can try it out. If it feels like it's a little bit loose, then you reduce it, and then with that you'll be able to get your method or your calculation for any subsequent one you want to sew. So I did use 3/4 of the person's waist measurement. So 18 is half of it plus 9 to give 27. So without 27, I just cut the 27 off without adding sewing allowance. Then I will join on 0.5. It will still be okay. Yeah, because we need the waist to be firm and for the elastic not to be too loose nor tight. So I've gone ahead to sew on 0.5. Can you see that, guys? Stitch it together just like that, and then I'll show you the way I went about to insert it inside on the waist area. So this is the way I'll go about to do it. I have the elastic joined together now, so I'll just open the waistband using 1 inch on that part. So I'll place it that way. All you need to place it that way, and then fold your 1 inch, and then if you're using 1.5, fine, you can use 1.5 for the waistband. Then stitch, then turn in 0.5 inside, so that you'll be able to stitch on that. But making sure when you're stitching on that particular 1 inch or 1.5 that you left, if we're going to be using 1.5, then you're turning it 0.5. If you're using 1 inch, you're turning it 0.5. Can you see that? You don't want to leave the edge outside. You just want to put a little bit in, or 0.25 is even okay. Then go on and stitch all the way around. So that's the way to go about it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. See you in my next video. Bye.